Peter, Igor Shesterkin said he could play better, but what did you think of his play in the series and kind of how stabilizing a force he can be for you guys?
I thought he was really good. You know, he was on point. Even tonight when the game's hanging in the balance and he still comes across and he makes that huge save. He seems to be tracking everything really well. He seems to be seeing the whole ice surface, not just the puck or the play. He sees what's behind him on the other side as well. I thought he was excellent.
Peter, just your balance scoring, 10 goal scorers, 14 point getters. How much can your balance really give teams fit the rest of the way?
Well, I like the balance in the playoffs. There's been a lot of questions about it, but the lines and the defensemen and the way they're set right now, it gives us a balance to just roll the lines at times. And I thought that was good. I thought that the first goal was big. It was, we chatted this morning about taking charge in the game and attacking the game and making a difference offensively because I thought they were playing well as a line. That was a big goal because you could tell Washington, they came out with a lot of pep in their step. And to get that goal, I thought was really important early in the first period.
Wanted to ask about if the series was maybe an example of what kind of weapons your special teams can be in the playoffs, both PK and power play.
Well, I don't think we pulled something. The whole season has been a work to try and get ready to, go into the first series and the first game. The specialty teams has been really strong the entire year. There's a little bit of a lull, in the middle, but not that much. And the power play was firing down the end of the season. The penalty kill has been on point. And so specialty teams, we talk about it all the time. I mean, it factors so much into a game. It factors into a series. And you're going to need, excellent performances from both in order to keep moving along.
I was actually going to ask you about the power play being maybe more dynamic recently than it had been, but also, do you take a measure of pride or accomplishment out of this when maybe you were not at your best, at your sharpest 5-on-5, or the other team wouldn't allow you, that you were still able to grind it out?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a misconception about that sometimes. This is playoff hockey, and you don't get here unless you've played hard, played well. If you think about what they went through to get to the playoffs down the stretch at the end and what they were dealing with, it's a proud group over there that, pushed themselves to the absolute limit to make the playoffs. And so in order to do that, they had to win games down the stretch. They had to beat teams. And you can go back to game 40 of the regular season. There are no easy games. It just doesn't happen. And so our guys, I thought, we're pretty good. I acknowledge that I thought we could have been better tonight, could have been better in the second period, but I do really like the third period when the game was 2-2. And, the way we were able to generate a goal and then shut it down defensively, I thought we played a real smart third period. So I don't think there's going to be easy games in the playoffs. I just don't. You look at the series that are going on around right now and you watch how hard teams are playing and you think that it should be a win one way, and yet the other team finds a way to win, or they play a strong game, and it's almost like we're taken back by that. We shouldn't. Every team that's in here is really good, and anybody can beat anybody.
Peter, how important was it for Artemi Panarin to have the start to these playoffs that he has?
Yeah, again, it probably goes back to the question with the power play and the penalty kill. I think it's really important to answer your question. Like, you want, that confidence, I think, builds guys feeling the puck, they're moving the puck, they're producing. It gives them confidence, and that's what they thrive in. But again, he had an amazing year as well. And I think the work through the course of the year has set himself and pushed himself to a point where now he can enter the playoffs and continue to play that way.
Last one, Dan.
Now that you swept them, I wonder if you could speak to the value of a short series in the first round for longevity in the playoffs.
I mean, we had, seemed like we had 6 days going into this first playoff game, and it was really good for our group. We were able to get some rest right off the bat because the schedule was every other day for a month. And it gave plenty of time to prepare, and then it gave time to actually work on things on the ice. And so there's a real value in that, where you can start to look at both opponents until you find out which one you're actually going to play. And so there's some value there, and I do think the rest is important. And then, series that are not concluded yet that can possibly continue to go on. There might be value there, but there's probably a lot of fact and proof behind the fact that a team that's gone 7 and has to walk right out of a Game 7 overtime win and walk into the next series, they're right on point with their game too. So it can go both ways. As I always say, when we get asked those type of questions, it can go both ways. We'll take the time. We'll do our best to be ready, and when we find out whose that is, we'll move on.